Previously, we discussed about various patterns can influence the high CPU. Now I'm going to show you how to debug the high CPU problem by using Dynatrace. Here I'm going to follow two approaches. One is the basic approach, which can give you an idea how to understand the problem from the infrastructure standpoint. And the second approach is going to be a quick approach to quickly identify the problem in less than 5 minutes. So those are two approaches we're going to do. End of the day, we are going to find the same root cause using these two approach. The first approach would give you an overall understanding about application, infrastructure, and process. The second approach is we're going to find the problem. Okay, let's do the first approach. Just find the problem, click the problem. Now you see there's a high CPU usage alert I have received. I'm going to open that and I'm going to understand what triggers this high CPU usage. Okay, you see here the high CPU has started now. And if you see, it is giving me the host which has consumed high CPU. It's currently 100% CPU usage. Let's click the host. As you can see here, the high CPU issue happened here around this time, right? 11:30 time, right? So you see, it's clear indication that CPU went up to 100% after 11:30. So along with that, you see there's other metric we have like CPU usage, and we have memory usage, traffic usage, and system load. Okay, so before we go into the problem, let's understand the screen. The screen which I'm showing right now is a host overview screen. Here, you can understand the overall metrics as our overview about the complete host, right? Here you can see the host specific metrics and process specific metrics and disk metrics, network metrics, and also you can get logs and events specific to this particular host. As you can see here, we have CPU usage graph and we have memory usage graph and we have traffic system load. You can also change the graph here. You can just click here and you see the list of metrics is available here. So you see the TCP packets, disk ops, right? So a lot of metrics. So how this will be helpful? Always have a look here. Whenever you see high CPU usage, try to understand what triggers this high CPU. Is it because of your application or is it because of your system related activity or some other activity, right? Now, if you see here, the CPU usage shows me 99 percentage, but underneath here, there's a symbol yellow color showing it. But here, if you see this yellow represents this one, CPU user percentage, which means it is a clear indication the application or any process running in the system, which is the reason for high CPU usage. Okay, but this ICP usage is not related to any other reason, only because of your application running here. So let's scroll down and go to and you can also click here, process analysis. And here you need to identify which process is consuming the high CPU. As you can see here, there is one process which is kind of consuming all the CPU usage. There's a process called bank transaction.jar file. So this is the particular process which is running here. So this is a process which is consuming almost 98% CPU usage. So as you can see here, this is a particular process which is consuming 100% CPU. So is it enough for you? No, right? Ideally, what generally we'll do, we'll just restart the process or we just restart the system to make the CPU to go down. But that's not an approach, right? That's not a solution. So you are just solving the problem temporarily, but it will come again back. So you need to understand the root cause of this problem. Not to find a root cause, what you have to do is just have to click this process. First of all, we need to understand what type of application is it. Is it a Java application or .NET application or Python or Go language? You need to understand that one, right? So for that, you can just expand this properties and tags here. And as you can see here, so this is basically a Java application which runs in this version, JVM version, right? And this is the JVM command has been executed. Okay. So now what you have to do here, it's very clear it's a Java application, right? So the next thing what we need to do is we need to find a reason why this went up to high CPU. So what kind of reason we're going to find? So we're going to find which piece of code in this application which is triggering the high CPU. Because when you go and talk to a developer about this issue, he generally asks, okay, tell me how do you want me to fix? Which code you want me to fix? Because he writes thousands of code, right? So you have to specific to him which code there is a problem, and you have to so that you can pinpoint the problem and share this information to a developer, and that will be helpful for developer to fine tune the problem, right? So now to give a more information to developer, I'm going to do deep dive analysis. For that, I'm going to click something like view detailed CPU breakdown. This is going to give me a breakdown about CPU usage. As you can see here, so it started around 11:30, right? I'm going to keep the cursor here and I can expand this range to 5 minutes. Okay. I just keep the cursor here because when I need to keep the cursor in the place where the CPU usage is high, and then I just scroll down here. As you can see here, almost all the CPU is consumed by the background thread. Background thread is nothing but your application threads. Okay. Now I'm just going to click here and click method hotspots. So as you can see, I'm into the method hotspot screen. What this skin will do to us, right? How it helps to us, right? So now, right now I'm on method hotspot screen. So the way you need to understand the screen, it basically provides you what your application is running, what type of methods or what type of code your application is continuously running. So as you can see here, it says code execution 100%, which means the high CPU has triggered because there is something is running so high frequently. It's kind of running for longer time. So we need to find what code or what method has running this for longer time or many so frequently time. How do I do that? I just found there's something is running so intensively for long time, which has triggered the high CPU. Then I can go down here. I get something like this. Okay. So what is this, right? So this is basically a stack trace, or you can say method trace, right? So this will tell you what this particular application or this particular Java process is executing and how much CPU it is contributing. Okay. As you can see here that starts here and this is how it's contributing right now. This particular step started with 100%. Now we want to find the application code which belongs to developer. Okay. So how do I find the application code belongs to developer or belongs to my application? You should have a package name. Okay. The package name generally starts with com dot and your application name, right? So that is the code which has been written by developer. Okay. So you need to be very specific to developer what code this issue has occurred. Okay, you should not give a generic information, try to be more specific. So now I'm going to do expand this and try to find what happened to this particular method and what it is running. Okay, I'm going to keep expanding this. As you see, when I keep expanding this, the distribution also getting changed here. As you can see here, my application is a bank transaction application and I see my application package starts with com.bank transaction. Similarly, in your application, you might have similar package like com dot your company name or your application name. Somehow it starts, which means whenever you see this kind of package, which means this code has been written by your developer. Okay. But if you see something like java.lang. Right, so this is not written by your developer. It's a native Java code. Okay, so try to differentiate the stack trace. Sometimes you will have hundreds of lines in your stack trace. So try to be just focus only your application code or application packages. Okay, so now here I'm going to only focus my application package. I'm trying to understand what it is doing currently. So now as you can see here, it started with it is trying to process some transaction and from 100%, and then it's created two things. One is account service, debit service, account service, credit service. Here, my CPU usage is mainly spent on my debit service, right? You see here, it's in 73%. I'm going to focus only the top contributors here. 26% is still high, but still I'm going to focus the 73% one. So I'm going to keep expanding this and try to find what it is actually doing. So now I can click expand. As you can see here, this debit transaction is trying to run the code of method perform calculation, and this perform calculation method is trying to run the perform heavy computation. So as you see here, I was saying whenever your application is doing some kind of heavy computation or heavy intensive operation, the CPU will go. That seems to be happened here. Now what happened? So you see here there is some activities being performed which is like heavy computation. I don't know what it is, but I can see from here it is doing some kind of heavy computation work from this particular package, and this is the class name match util dot class name, and from here this is your method name. Okay, so this is my class name and this is my method name. Underneath I see it is trying to do some random next double and some random next. Okay, so now again this is a internal package, so which means my application code is trying to do some kind of mathematical operation which has triggered the high CPU here. Now what I do, I'll just take a screenshot of this particular view, right? I'll just send it to developer, right? I'll say, okay, see, this is what happening. There's a high CPU usage has occurred. And when I drill down to the method stack trace, I found this is the application package which starts with match util class file. Under this class file, there is a method called perform heavy operation method. I don't know what it is doing. It is kind of doing some mathematical operation which has triggered the high CPU usage. Then what will developer will do if he has a code access or the edited developers will have access. So they just go and check the code. I'll show you how they do. Once you share this information to him, right, ideally what they do, they try to find what this is doing, this particular class file and this particular method, what activity is performing or what code it is running. Then they just go to this particular package, com.bank transaction, com.bank transaction is the package name and class name is matched util. Let's go and check that one. As you see here, I have a class file called match util, right? I just click that. Now, what is the method name? Perform AV computation. I just go here to the code and try to find a method name called perform AV computation. As you can see here, this is the method which is exactly showing me here. So now I can see I'm doing some kind of mathematical square root operation. This is the particular code line number from 15 to 18. This is the reason why my CPU went up to 100%. As you can see the same thing here is doing some mathematical expression or mathematical operations. Now we are very clear. Developer has hundreds of codes. You see here, he has lot of code is been written here, right? So he has lot of class files, Java class files, Java program. But now you are helping a developer to instead of focus on each and every code he written, you're just giving a right pinpointing the problem on which method and which class file. Then developer directly comes here and opens this class file and try to find the method name and try to find the problem and then he will fix the problem. So now here we are giving a developer a more information or more specific pinpoint information which helps to resolve this problem. Okay, so the step-by-step thing is first the way how you need to understand. So I will show you back again from host overview or you can start from problem. If you click problem, that will come to your host. I'll click host. From host, what's our intention? We want to understand is this CPU as triggered because of the application or some other activity. So by looking at this graph, I can say the CPU usage is triggered by your application because the CPU usage is triggered by CPU user. Okay, its application as doing some kind of intensive operation or heavy computation operation which has triggered the CPU usage. Now next thing is I'm going to find the process who is responsible for this ICP. Then I keep coming down and go to the process section. Then I found the specific process. So this is a process which has consumed all the CPU. And then I click the process. I'm going to click this view detail CPU breakdown. From here, I'm going to choose a range. I'll just go for 5 minutes range. And then I'm just going to click method hotspots. Then once I'm into the method hotspots view, then I'm going to find a code, a developer written code, which triggers the ICPU. I just come down and I keep expanding this problem and then keep expanding this stack trace. This is the stack trace, our method trace. I keep expanding it. And my intention is to find the package name which belongs to the application. I focus more on my application package. Here, this is my application package. I'm just keep expanding it and try to understand what is being executed, what the code is doing currently. So there's account service method, account service class file, and the credit is a method name. And from here it is going to here, and from here is going to match it, perform AV computation. So I have to start from the top to root. So this is the root of the code. So this is the root of the code you see here. After this, I cannot further expand, right? So this is the last one. So always you have to keep expanding this node and come to the root. Okay, so now it's the problem here. This is the class file and this is the method name is the problem here. So this is one of the way to find the CPU problem. But here you have to have your different screens. Okay, this is the approach one. This will help you to understand from host level to process level and from process level to CPU detail breakdown. From there you go to method hotspot. You have to click close to 4 to 5 screens. Now